Today, we're going to be taking a look at probably one of most people's favorite Star Wars character. This is Star Wars Black Series Boba-Fett Return of the Jedi version. Now, as I mentioned, Boba-Fett, legendary, and a legendary guy for not saying very much of anything in episodes 5 and 6. But he sure did look cool, and yes, he does still look cool. And as a kid, he was my favorite. I genuinely love Boba-Fett. He's just cool looking. And then they made an entire group of individuals based off of Boba Fett called Mandalorians. And yes, my love carried on for Mandalorians. Of course they did. But this is the Return of the Jedi Black Series release here, and it's pretty good. See, there's the box. Ta-da! It's green. Got stuff on it. And it, of course, says stuff. Honestly, doesn't say anything, for being honest. It does come with a lot more accessories, though. And as far as the figure goes, man, he looks good. It is a nice-looking figure, if I'm being honest. The one thing that's a little odd with this Boba Fett, though, that I always kind of forget about is in Return of the Jedi, he has a blue, yellow, and red back, like, jetpack for some reason. Like, it just seems weird, but it's accurate. It is weirdly accurate. And it's just odd. As far as everything else goes, yeah, this is Boba Fett. This is outright him. He has everything going on here. I mean, looking at it, just detailing-wise, the arms, they look great. He, of course, has his shoulder pads and his very cool gauntlets, which do have, like, an underhand shotgun type thing going on, as we've seen in the Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian. We actually got to look at a lot more of his utility in The Mandalorian than we ever did in any of the movies. Chest piece is Mandalorian chest piece. It's pretty generic. It's almost every Mandalorian has that chest piece. The legs actually are pretty plain. They're just gray pants with some little knee pads, which also have guns in them, and some tools, and then his weird little squared off shoes. Why are they squared off? What's going on with that? To maybe help climb, but then he has a jetpack. What the... I don't know. I don't know why he has squared off feet, but he sure does. As far as it goes, helmet not removable, which is a bit of a shame because it's the first time I'm going to mention it on the channel. He's one of the guys with a fully sculpted, I can't even really see it. He has a fully sculpted head under his helmet. But Hasbro, in their cheapness, I guess, they've done it with a lot of clones. I've actually gotten a lot in recently. I've gotten the Star Wars Battlefront 2 ARC Trooper and Jet Trooper. They have the same thing. There's a fully sculpted clone head under them, but it's just not painted. But then, of course, there's other versions of the ARC Trooper, like Echo and Fives, which have removable helmets. So it's just weird. It's a bit odd. I guess at Boba Fett, in this case, we didn't know what his face looked like, but now we do. You know, he's just a clone, really. Like, he's just Tamora Morrison. We know he's Tamora Morrison under there now. That's all I have to say. His mystery is gone. We know what Boba Fett looks like, and he's still a cool guy. They still made him look cool, so. But, I mean, as far as it goes, detailing and everything, great look. And he does come with a actual butt-ton of accessories because he is a deluxe figure, as you might have noticed with the box. There's a ton of stuff in there that's just in there, and we're going to have to get it out. So we're going to talk about the main accessories first, and then talk about the weird alternate ones. So as far as it goes for the main figure, of course he comes with his typical weapon, which is a little wonky. I hate this gun. Now, my first ever Black Series figure was Black Series 0. He also has this very gun. His is almost snapped in two, and I've barely even taken him out of the box. That's not a joke. It is a very weak point here. There's another one, which is the Mandalorian Death Watch Trooper. The Death Watch Mandalorian, I think. It's something. It's something. It's right there. I'm stupid. I'm literally looking over. It's right over. It's literally next to me. But it also comes a similar one, but with a grip, which makes it easier to hold. Now, unfortunately for Boba here, he can't hold it too good because of the whole enclosed stock design. His hand is really tight going around the barrel of it to hold it good and not like a pistol, which really this thing is like a pistol with a stock and a barrel. Like, if you look at it, it's blatantly just a revolver with extra parts on it. Also, this little scope up here is bent, which is a shame. Came out of the box like that. But I guess to talk about one of the weird ones, we also get this one. The cut-in-half version, which is for the Luke Skywalker to do something with there. So if you do own a Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker or one of the Mandalorian ones, because they're pretty similar designs, honestly, the photos you probably seen with Luke are going to be the Mandalorian one from the Book of Boba Fett. That's what one it's going to be. But it's basically when he cuts the blaster in half. And also for that scene, you also get a rope, which you could put around Luke, which is good. He then comes with his jetpack, as I mentioned earlier. It is, of course, a removable part, revealing some back detailing. The jetpack does have the thrusters on a swivel, and the missile is removable, which honestly is a shame they missed an effect part for that. They included 3 fire effects, but I wish they kind of maybe had another one for this. This is also severed in the box, the missile, and then it does have the typical 3-point connection that most other Mandalorian figures have. I also didn't mention this, but the rangefinder on the helmet goes down, but I think that's a pretty obvious one. Almost every figure with a rangefinder, on the helmet, it goes down. But a lot of the other accessories here we have left are the effect parts, which are these fire ones. You get 2 of this one, which are meant for the jetpack, and they kind of have like a ball peg at the end. And they just kind of go in there, so you can get some very good flying poses. Any flying pose I do with him, you will see it. It was at the beginning of the video, most likely. But yeah, they go like that. And then we have this, which I thought was like the shotgun, but I guess it's not. I guess it's his flamethrower? Because it clearly goes over this square section here. I thought it would go over one of the other ones, but it does look to go over the square section. If I can get it on there, there we are. So you can kind of get him doing his little flamethrower action there. I think that's a pretty cool effect as well. Nothing really particularly bad about it. It's a little flame effect. I can't really complain about it. I mean, his accessories, a lot of them are kind of monotonous, if I'm being honest. They're just there to fulfill, like, small things, but I'm not going to complain about the effect parts. Those are at least really good. And now we're going to show you the issue with this gun. I hate this gun. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. It's Boba Fett's gun. It is his gun, so that's kind of the thing. It's not like it's an inaccurate weapon or anything. This is exactly the one he uses. And it's a gun that shows up a lot in Star Wars, and it's already starting to bend. Great, just like Zero. I don't know if it's just me, or if that's just an issue. But the problem is you're seeing is, yeah, it's a little hard to get him to grip this part in general because of the stock. You can't really get the trigger finger up in there without, I don't really want to force it. So that's just my fault, I guess. You probably can. But then there's this hand, which is a lot worse. It's very, very tight. And the problem here is that this is a very round barrel, and the hand is not super flexible like a lot of other figures tend to have. So what you kind of have to do is come in, and you either have to heat it up or pull up on the thumb yourself and get it in there. And there we got it in. So there we have the gun again. It's a little wonky, honestly, to get that in there. It's a bit of a shame, but what are you going to do? And then the sight's still bent too, which is a shame. But the figure still looks great. Look at that paint. It's beautiful. But that is essentially his accessories, so let's just get into the articulation, which is pretty good. And we're going to have to completely undo what I just did, which is beautiful, isn't it? So, starting up the head, he does have the dumbbell joint up there, which is very good. Forward and back the shoulder. The shoulder pad is connected to the torso. The outward can go fully out. It is a bit rubbery, so you do have that. Swivel at the elbow, along with the elbow bend. Wrist swivel. Wrist swivel. Yes, he has that weird double wrist swivel. This one goes in. This one goes up and down. On the right side, he does have the waist articulation. Again, not going to be able to do too much, just where the armor is sitting. The belt is loose. Forward. Back doesn't really exist. Outward, a swivel. The knee goes a little above 90. And you have an inward and outward tilt. Forward and back. And Bob is your uncle. That is the Boba Fett. figure. So let's just get to the final thoughts here on Mr. Fett. And, I mean, this thing is pretty great. If I'm being honest, the look of this figure alone is honestly perfection. I don't have any issues with the look of the figure. I never even mentioned, really, the rubbery cape section on the back, but it is there. But, again, the biggest issue is it's weird to get him to hold his gun. That's about my biggest gripe of the figure. The accessories are a little odd. I know there was a cheaper version. I think he was cheaper. He might not have been. I know there's another version that's on, like, a vintage series type of card. Kind of on, like, the original Kenner toy cards that I found a little bit after that actually was cheaper than this guy, on AliExpress at least. But AliExpress also has the downside of they usually don't ship them in very good boxes or anything. They usually end up shipping them in, like, paper. But, I mean, this one here looks great. It just is a nice figure to have. Again, Boba Fett, one of my favorite Star Wars characters, even though the Book of Boba Fett was kind of mid and ended up becoming The Mandalorian Season 2.5, but what are you gonna do? He's still cool. I mean, he still has some very cool things. And I could still see more of this version of Boba Fett, right? Like, all I'm saying is we didn't see a lot of this guy. Like, we could see more of him down the line. I hope, anyway. Boba Fett is just one of those characters that I think a lot of people want to see more of. He is the guy. He is that guy. He spawned the Mandalorians, and I can only thank him for spawning the Mandalorians. I love them all. Thank you, Boba Fett. Thank you. Very good figure. I am going to give him a 4 out of 5, because he isn't perfect. The gun hand thing makes him not perfect. So I'm going to try to fix my rating. So I stopped giving 5 out of 5 at a rapid rate. If they have a flaw, they're not a 5 out of 5, right? So he's 4 out of 5, because he has the flaw of not being able to hold the gun too well. Also, his rangefinder is a little crooked out of the box, which is weird. Sometimes I see people say the head gets scrunched in, like this. I didn't get that, luckily. But yeah, that is essentially Boba Fett. And that has been my review of Black Series Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. This has been Elthal Elite signing out.